Jeff's apartment, his face pale. "Jeff, I'm in trouble. Jennifer wants a birthday deal too, and she said nothing is off limits." Jeff looked at him, horrified. "You've known her for 20 minutes. You really think you're ready to hear Jennifer's wildest fantasy? What if she wants something so disturbing you won't be able to look at her when you're having brunch with your parents? You're swimming with sharks, kid, and the sharks are hungry." The anxiety began to eat at Adam. Every time Jennifer mentioned sticky liquids or messy plans for his birthday, his mind went to the darkest corners of the internet. Was it props? Was it a third party? Meanwhile, Audrey was planning Jeff's party. She wanted to throw an Audrey-style party, mojito glasses, palm tree bowls, a Cuban theme. Jeff hated it. He wanted Jeff Fest beer, hot wings, and stadium rock. But he kept his mouth shut. He was protecting the birthday deal. The night of the party arrived. The apartment was filled with people Jeff barely knew, sipping drinks he didn't like. Russell was there, of course, hovering around a girl named Karen like a shark circling a reef. Adam cornered Russell in the kitchen. "What if what she wants is disgusting?" "Then you win," Russell laughed. "Look, man, you're single. You can do anything with a girl because by the next morning, you're gone. But you're with Jennifer forever. That's your problem." Finally, after the guests cleared out and the smell of mojitos lingered in the air, Adam and Jennifer sat on their bed. "Okay," Jennifer said. "On my birthday, every year, I want a foot massage as soon as I wake up. Then breakfast in bed, homemade blueberry pancakes, then a back massage. Then I go back to sleep while you clean the apartment. Then when you're finished, you come back to bed, you get under the covers, and we watch The Notebook." Adam stared at her. "That's it? No crazy sex fantasy?" "Sex-wise, I can get anything I want from you any day of the year," she said simply. "For my birthday, I want the things I can't get." Adam felt a wave of relief so powerful it nearly knocked him over. He looked at the paper he had written his own request on, the velvet hat trick. He quickly crumpled it up. "I love you," he whispered. Across the hall, Jeff's birthday deal was much simpler. He and Audrey went back to the diner, recreating their first date. It was sweet, it was quiet, and it was the one thing Jeff would never admit to the guys. Chapter 3. Ghosts in the Mattress. Moving in together was supposed to be a seamless blending of two lives. Instead, it was a war of logistics. Adam brought his old bed into the apartment, a top-of-the-line queen-size mattress he had bought during a previous relationship. "I love this bed," Jennifer said, stretching out. "How did you afford this?" "I convinced Sonia to go top of the line," Adam said, the name slipping out before he could catch it. The atmosphere in the room changed instantly. "Sonia?" Jennifer asked, her voice turning cold. "Your ex-girlfriend Sonia? We are sleeping in a bed you bought with your ex?" "Well, yeah, but..." "I can't do it, Adam. I feel like she's in here with us. Every time I close my eyes, I see her." The Sonia bed became a symbol of the past that they hadn't quite cleared out. Adam was forced to move the bed back to storage, relegated to a tiny little bed that left his limbs hanging off the edge and his back in knots. Meanwhile, Jeff was facing his own crisis of the past. Audrey had challenged his ego. "You think you can still attract a 24-year-old? She laughed at the diner. "Jeff, you walk around singing Huey Lewis songs and you can't brush your teeth without putting your other hand down your shorts. You're past your prime." "I am not," Jeff protested. "I was 24 when you fell for my charms." "I fell for you because you were screaming at a girl for over-pumping a keg," Audrey reminded him. "It's a bet. Go to a bar, take off your ring, and see if you can get a number." Jeff took the bet. He went to a trendy Manhattan bar, flanked by Russell, who acted as a sort of demented wingman. Jeff tried his opening lines. "Hi, I'm Jeff. My wife. My dead wife bought me this shirt. It was a disaster." He felt like an ancient relic in a room full of neon and youth. He realized that the game had changed, and he no longer knew the rules. Back at the apartment, Adam and Jennifer were fighting over the past. Jennifer had decided that for every item Adam got rid of from his exes, she would get rid of one from hers. "Fine," she said, throwing a cookbook into a box. "That's Michael, and this picture is Jason. We're even." "Not really," Adam said. "Jason and Michael, that's two relationships to my one. What about the guidebook I took to Barbados with Anne?" "That's 3-2, Jennifer yelled. "You want a rumble? Here's the mixed CD from Alejandro." They were surrounded by boxes of ghosts. They realized that their lives weren't empty vessels they were filling together. They were already full of people who came before. Later that night, Jennifer came to Adam with a new box, an empty one. "This is our past," she said, putting a seashell they found on their first beach trip inside. "The other boxes are full, but this one, we'll be adding to it for the rest of our lives. Soon, the other ones won't even matter." Adam smiled, pulling her into the Sonia bed, which they had finally agreed to stop calling by that name. In the bar, Jeff sat alone until Audrey walked in. She sat next to him, pretending to be a stranger. "Hi," she said. "Is this seat taken?" "No," Jeff said, a slow smile spreading across his face. "Feel like buying a guy a drink?" "Sure. What's a handsome guy like you doing in a place like this?" "Waiting for my wife," Jeff said, sliding his ring back on. Chapter 4. The Physiological Response. It started with a couch. Adam had asked Jeff to help him move a heavy rug, and in the process, Jeff had tweaked a nerve in his neck. He was walking around like a man with a steel rod fused to his spine. "Let me help," Jennifer said when she saw him winced in the hallway. "I studied therapeutic massage in college." Jeff was hesitant. He wasn't a people-touching me guy, but the pain was too much. Jennifer began to work on his shoulders, her hands finding the knots with professional precision. "Oh, that's it," Jeff groaned. "That's the spot." And then, it happened. A physiological response. An accidental, unbidden, and deeply embarrassing biological reaction. Jeff froze. He felt the blood rush to his face. He mumbled a thank you and practically bolted out of the room. He spent the next 3 days avoiding Jennifer. He felt dirty. He felt like he had cheated on Audrey with his neighbor's hands. "Audrey, I can't," Jeff said when his wife tried to rub his neck later that night. I need to take a shower." Audrey was suspicious. "You're acting weird, Jeff. Even for you." Eventually, the truth came out. Jennifer, being honest to a fault, told Audrey what happened. "It's just a physiological response, Audrey. It happens in clinics all the time. I was just helping him." Audrey confronted Jeff. "So, you got a standing ovation from the neighbor girl?" Jeff was mortified. "It had nothing to do with her. It's like when I'm on a bumpy bus on 9th Avenue. It's just mechanics." Audrey laughed, seeing the genuine terror in his eyes. She realized that Jeff wasn't looking for an affair. He was just a man who was deeply, hilariously uncomfortable with his own body. "I'm keeping the earrings you bought me to hide the guilt, though," Audrey said, patting his cheek. "Easily the most expensive erection I've ever had," Jeff muttered. In the end, as they all sat at the diner, the veterans and the recruits, they looked at each other. They were all playing the same game, just at different levels. Adam was still learning the controls, while Jeff was trying to remember where he left the manual. Russell, meanwhile, was still trying to convince the waitress that he was a pilot. Chapter 5. The War of the Lashes. Manhattan was a city that could smell weakness. For Russell Dunbar, that weakness was his complexion. Despite his expensive suits and the carefully curated image of a high-flying bachelor, Russell was, in his own words, almost clear. It happened near a schoolyard. Russell had his eye on a beautiful teacher, a woman named Miss O'Brien, who looked like she'd stepped out of a catalog for intellectual romance. But before he could make his move, he was intercepted by a pint-sized sociopath named Bronson. "Hey, Milkface!" the kid yelled, leaning against the chain-link fence. Russell paused, looking around. "Me?" "Yeah, you, albino boy," the pigment factory called. "Your application was denied." The insult hit Russell like a physical blow. He retreated to the diner, where Jeff and Adam were already neck-deep in their own domestic dramas. "I'm being bullied," Russell announced, dropping into the booth. "By a child. He called me Casper. He said I look like a powdered donut hole." Jeff didn't even look up from his burger. "He's not wrong, Russell. You're a little translucent. Maybe try some sun? Or a lamp?" But Adam was facing a different crisis. "You think I'm pretty?" he asked, his voice laced with genuine concern. "Pretty?" Jeff laughed. "Adam, you're the Miss America of this booth." "That kid," Russell said, pointing at Adam. "He teased me, and then he looked at Adam and said the Miss America contest called and he was in. He said I had combination skin, a combination of girl and sissy." Adam gripped his coffee mug. "I don't want to be pretty. I want to be rugged, like a lumberjack, or Ryan Seacrest." "Seacrest isn't rugged, kid," Jeff grunted. "If you want to look tough, you should break your nose. My nose. My rules. That's how you get the distinguished veteran look." The obsession with masculinity spiraled. Adam began trying to walk with a more deformed gait, attempting to hide the fact that he possessed what Bronson called thick, pretty lashes like a girl. Russell, however, decided on a different strategy, a counteroffensive. He returned to the schoolyard, accompanied